Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Mr. Lucy. How
Hello,
are
Mr.
you?
Raleigh. Good to see you.
Okay, today's video is going to focus on problem solving in chemistry, a huge skill that students need.
They use and need.
Yes.
In problem solving, how we're going to solve these problems and the concepts that surround these problems, we're going to be doing all year in chemistry. So chemistry is a special science class in the sense that what we do in September, we will be doing in June. So mastery of this information and these skills is essential.
Very critical. Okay? So here we go.
Why don't we do page 21, number 42?
Okay, let's start with that. Sounds great.
Good.
Okay, so here's the problem. The problem reads, the area of the 48 contiguous states is 3.0 times 10 to the 6 miles squared. So Mr. Lucy already drew a fabulous outline of the United States. So let's just fill in some information here. And it's 3.02 times 10 to the 6th, miles squared. So I'm going to attempt to just do the problem, and Mr. Lucy is really going to decode it and go over the important information that you'll need when a test, a quiz, or any type of performance assessment is before you. Okay, so this is what's given in the problem. I drew a picture, I write down what's given. And the question's asking for, assume that these states are completely flat, no mountains and no valleys. What volume of water, so we're looking for the volume of water, would cover these states with a rainfall of 2 inches? Okay. So, we have to get to volume. So, we're going to have to remember a couple of things. What is volume equal to? Well, you just did a lab on volume. Volume is equal to length times width times height. And you should know that length times width is really the same as area times height. So these are concepts that Mr. Lucy and I expect you to know and be very familiar with. If you don't know this, then maybe you're going to have to go back and read over and make sure that that becomes part of your functional memory. Okay? So here we have, now there's 2 inches of rainfall. If there's 2 inches of rainfall on the contiguous in the United States, that represents which variable here? Length times width times height, area, height. Well, you're going to have to know that that's the height of this amount of rainfall. We want to get the volume of the area, so here we have the height. Now, the rest of the problem is very straightforward. We have the area is here, is 3.02 times 10 to the 6 miles squared. And the height is 2.0 inches. So if I multiply these two together, I should get the volume? No way. What's the issue? My issue is the units. Units are very important in chemistry. This is the big distinction between chemistry and mathematics. We have to deal with units. We can't possibly multiply this together. And so what are we going to have to do? We're going to have to change the units so that they're the same, so that we can multiply them and get to a unit that we eventually can get volume. And volume is either measured in milliliters or liters. So for me, the best unit to get to, I think, is centimeters. Why? Because I know that if I change this into centimeters and this is changed into centimeters squared, what do you remember from the laboratory? You know, did a huge lab on this, that 1 milliliter equals 1 centimeters cubed. So this is all the data that you should know that should be part of your fundamental skills for chemistry. Okay, so let's go through and solve the problem now. So we're going to take my 3.0, area equals 3.02 times 10 squared, 10 to the 6 miles squared. And what we have to do is change this unit. So this is given. This is a conversion factor. Okay, we'll give you these. 1.609 kilometers, you do not have to memorize this, is equal to 1 mile. What you have to remember is this. Notice the unit is squared, so what do I have to do with these units? I have to square them. Don't forget, that's a very important scale. Next, so now I have the miles squared, it's gonna cancel. Now I have kilometers squared, so I'm gonna put 1 kilometer down here, and that's gonna be equal, I'm gonna go right to centimeters, so this is gonna be 1 times 10 to the 5th centimeters, and this once again is squared, because I have to keep the same unit, and that's gonna be equal to 7.8 times 10 to the 16th centimeters squared. Okay? And then we also have the height, which we have is equal to 2.0 inches. And then we're going to change that. It's 2.54 centimeters. This is a conversion factor again, which you will be given. Equals 1 inch, excuse me. Notice there's no squaring here, very straightforward. And this comes out to be 5.08 centimeters. Now all I have to do is multiply them together, because we remember from the original equation that the volume is equal to the area times the height. So that's going to be equal to 7.8 times 10 to the 16th centimeters squared times 5.08 centimeters. And that gives me a value of 3.97 times 10 to the 17th centimeters cubed. And so since this is my answer in centimeters cubed, what do we remember? That 1 centimeter cubed equals 1 milliliter. So it's also my answer in milliliters. Okay, so Mr. Lucy is going to go through and decode this for you. Go emphasize what's important, what skills you have to know. Okay?